Is fake scarcity hurting the world of sales and business? And why do you need to know? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales. And a perfect day to talk about fake scarcity. So scarcity and using it, it's a psychological term, meaning there's not a lot of them. So right here on the whiteboard, I've got an eraser. It's just a dry eraser. And if I came to you and I said, look, this is the last eraser made, I want $1 million for it. You'd be like, you know what, Scott? I could go to the store that sells pens and paper, and there's probably 40 or 50 of them, and they're probably $3 or $4, okay? And you go, $1 million, unless it's something special, it's got a stock tip in there, you'd be like, no, not doing it, okay? That's an example, an over-example of fake scarcity. And what's happened is a lot of people on the internet have said, I've got this sale going, and it's going to end on this date. It's going to end on July 1st. And if it's not July 1st, I'm sorry, you're out of it. And then what happens is people, oh, just extended, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. We're going to go to August 1st. And then August 1st comes around, they're like, oh, just kidding, we changed the date. Now, you got to be careful about this because there are some legalities, some legal issues. You can't have a perpetual sell. There's things that you have to know about how to deal with this, right? Not an attorney, just some cool dude on YouTube. So just be aware of it. But I will tell you that fake scarcity has really put a hurt on some of the industries in the world of sales, and it's coming your way, and you got to be prepared for it, okay? So there's a couple things that you can do. There's a couple of ways that you can work around this. One, if you have a special and you have something going on, make sure that that special ends when you say that it's going to end. And two, you can have literature saying, hey, look, this came from the vendor, this came from the owner, this came from the manager, this sale legitimately is going to be over. Because buyers know that if they're like, well, you say that the sale ends on June 1st, but what happens if I come in on the 2nd? And they're, well, like all of a sudden, fake scarcity. All of a sudden, it's not real anymore. All of a sudden, you've lost credibility as a salesperson, right? So you have to be aware that if you're going to tell somebody, this is a special, this is what's going on, this is what you're going to get, you have to be willing to live by it. So when I would meet with people doing in-home sales, I would be like, look, you got two prices. You got the today price, and then you got the let's do it later price. And they'd say, well, why is that? I'm like, well, there's all the reasons. I got to travel, the company's going to miss leads. There was a bunch of things that I gave them. Today price, really good. Not today price, there's a difference. And people would say, well, if I call you back on this day, can I get the today price? And I'd be like, look, what kind of person would I be if I told you today price is today, and then I gave it to you tomorrow? I'd have to have that conversation. Fake scarcity hurts salespeople. It is a form of sales sabotage. It's a form of business sabotage. So at some point, you have to figure it out. You have to draw the line in the sand. I can't tell you how to sell, but I will tell you that once that buyer in the back of their mind goes, fake scarcity, you're going to have a tough time closing that deal versus real scarcity, meaning that if the sale's over, the sale's over. There's plenty of times where people will call me back and they're like, hey, I want the special that you had a couple months ago. I'm like, should have had that special a couple months ago. Or there was a price increase from the manufacturer and they're like, hey, I want to get that product, that widget, that gizmo at the price that we talked about. I'm like, you mean the price that we talked about last year? Yeah. Like, I wish I could, right? We've had price increases. There's stuff going on. Know that fake scarcity hurts you as a salesperson, hurts your industry, but the internet has conditioned people for it, and you got to be aware of it because most people will go, that price is going to be the same next week, next month, next year, and you have to deal with it in your presentation. You have to deal with it if they give you an objection and you put them on the be-back train or the be-back bus where you're going to make some phone calls and do some follow-up because the fortune's in the follow-up, right? Just know fake scarcity hurts everybody in the world of sales. And if you live by that, it's not just hurting you, it's hurting other salespeople as well. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update that says Scott Bell Consultant sent out another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Aloha.